Good Wednesday evening, everybody. Welcome back to yet another video. And this is my very late August movie wrap up. Earlier today, I filmed my August book wrap up, so you'll get these two videos as soon as the weekend. But I have 23 movies to talk about for the month of August. And August was rough. I thought this to myself and I called this like the January of summer. It wasn't really a great movie month at all. I only really enjoyed 2 movies. The rest were just pure garbage or on the brink of watchable. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And the first movie I watched for August was Trap. And this was M. Night Shyamalan's brand new movie, and the premise alone definitely made me see this movie. This stars Josh Hartnett as like an every dad, if you will, and he takes his daughter to like this pop concert, and the concert is a trap to find a serial killer. And that's this whole movie. This movie was very interesting, but you have to look at all the logic issues. There's a lot of logic issues. There's a lot of conveniences, and it tends to be predictable. This movie fell apart when they left the concert and Salika Shyamalan steals the show. And then it turns into a nepotism project. That's probably what divides this whole movie and everything that it set up but failed to do. So, very frustrating because it had a very cool premise, but Shyamalan just bit the bullet again. So that was the first movie I watched. Next, and y'all are gonna ask me this: why haven't you watched Alien 1979 more times? Well, this was my first watch of Alien all the way through, and I covered this whole franchise throughout August, so I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. So I reviewed every single movie and ranked the series. This is my second favorite Alien movie. Now it comes down to, do you like the slow building tension or the action more? Well, you'll see that in a minute. But the star Sigourney Weaver and John Hurt, and lots of other people. But this is basically Halloween in space. You just have a group of people stuck in one location and a monster is after them. This is what sci-fi horror really was. And it's the best of the best. And I really did enjoy my first time watching Alien. Moving right along to Aliens, the 1986 action spectacle. This one was directed by James Cameron, and James Cameron knows how to do a sequel. This was vastly better than the original, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, because I see a lot of people enjoy the action more, and Ripley is just in charge of these space marines, and there's just a whole hive of xenomorphs that they have to battle. And when she faces the Queen, it's the most epic introduction of this Queen. It's awesome. So, that was Aliens. Again, if you want my full thoughts, I reviewed every single one of these movies on my channel. So, take a look at them. Moving right along to Alien 3. Yeah, this was definitely a step down from Aliens. For one, they kill off Newt and Hicks in the first 10 minutes of this movie. And this is a very bleak movie. So, Ripley is on this prison planet, and she wants to stage a mutiny against all these prisoners, which are all men, and somehow she gets impregnated by alien DNA. So she sacrifices herself in the end. This was my second to least favorite Alien movie. All because of that retcon. Yeah, it really did not jive with me. But this was watchable, but it is very insulting. So moving on, Borderlands. Yeah. We're in like the trash heap now. 'Cause I have like pretty much mostly trash to watchable here. But Borderlands was easily the worst movie of this month. It was bad. So this is based off of a very popular video game that is ripping off Guardians of the Galaxy. So you just have like this group of people, I guess, and they just like try to find this treasure on like a distant planet, and they have like a one-dimensional villain that I don't even remember. And this movie was really, really bad. I did not like this movie at all. So, I did make a review for it, but tread lightly on this one, because I really do go off on this movie. But that was Borderlands. Moving right along, I have Alien Resurrection. Now, this goes down as like the worst Alien, and it's really not. But it is very weird and kinda silly. So, this takes place 200 years after the events of Alien 3, and they find a way to clone Ripley, and she is now part alien. So, she is human, but she has the heightened senses of a xenomorph. The only thing interesting about this movie was Ron Perlman's inclusion. Him being in this movie actually made me enjoy this movie a little bit more. But it was my third least favorite Alien movie. That was Alien Resurrection. Moving right along to the Alien vs. Predator franchise, and I have Alien vs. Predator 2004. So, the only movie in this franchise to be rated PG-13. Don't ask me why, but AVP is a really fun monster mash of a movie. Because Predator is established in this lore, and it's an overall fun battle royale against two of the most popular sci-fi monsters ever imagined. So, you also have like the humans that discovered this pyramid in the Antarctic Circle, and the predators use it as like a killing ground for the xenomorphs. Really cool premise, and it is a very fun watch. But that was Alien vs. Predator. Now, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, much worse movie. I think this is probably worse than Borderlands, and that is saying a lot. This movie sucks, but it had some cool ideas, but you can't see a damn thing in this movie. Apparently they don't know what lighting is. So you cannot see any xenomorphs and predators fighting. And the callback lines are cringy. The characters are terrible. And the shock value is almost disgusting. I mean, the scene where they're in the NICU and 3 chest bursters just come out of this pregnant woman is nauseating. And they kill a child by a chest burster in the beginning. Yeah, this was a very wild movie, but terrible. But that was the Alien vs. Predator duology. And moving right along, I watched Cuckoo, which was a movie that I heard about from Cody Leach and Sean Chandler, because they both saw it like last year, so I wanted to check it out. I picked a horrible day to watch this movie, because I wasn't feeling my best, and I practically like slept through most of this thing. This movie was weird. So essentially you have like this young teenage girl who goes to like this hotel in the Swiss Alps, and she is being plagued by this weirdo who like keeps women hostage, and he does very weird things to them. Let's just say he has an obsession with cuckoo birds. Yeah. Not my cup of tea, and I highly doubt that I would rewatch this movie. But that was Cuckoo. Next up is a rewatch of Prometheus, and this is the prequel to Alien. This happened like, I want to say, 50 or so years before Alien, and this is Ridley Scott's vision on philosophical intellectualism. There I go again. So basically, it's all about the creation of man and alien. I sort of enjoy this film, but it is a very challenging watch because it is slow and you barely get any alien action in this film, which is very taxing for Alien fans. I do like Michael Fassbender as David in here. He's a soft villain. I mean, he practically gets his story finished. Alien Covenant. Scratch that one. But yeah, this is a very deep movie, but some of the questions are not answered until you watch Alien Covenant. And not to mention, this movie is very smart, but it is filled with dumb character decisions. I mean, go to the side, Charlize Theron. What are you doing? So she gets crushed by like this giant donut. I digress, but I've watched this movie probably 4 times now, and it's almost at the middle of my Alien ranking. To like number 6, I believe. But that was Prometheus. Followed by Alien Covenant. And this was another first watch for me. So, this is the direct sequel to Prometheus. But this one has a lot more action, and you definitely get to see a lot more xenomorphs. And not to mention, you have the addition of a neomorph, which is a backburster. This movie is more gory, more watchable, and it doesn't make you feel like a dumbass after watching it. So, very fun movie, but it's right in the middle of my Alien ranking. But the biggest surprise of the month, and easily my favorite movie of August, Alien Romulus. If this movie didn't come out in August, August would have been a trashy month. But thank God for Alien Romulus. This is Fede Alvarez's vision on Alien, Aliens, and a little bit of Prometheus. So, this takes place 20 years after the events of Alien, and basically works as like a side story. So you get like this crew that goes into space and they salvage parts from the Nostromo. And I really enjoyed this very much. And when you get to like the climax, the zero gravity sequence was really nail biting and easily the funnest part of this entire movie. So that was Alien Romulus. You might actually see this in my top 10 favorite movies of the year. So stay tuned for that. But moving on from there, since I had a little bit of a sci-fi stretch there, I decided to binge the Species franchise. So let's get started with Species 1995. And this is basically about an alien seductress who just wants to impregnate herself with like the perfect man. Very simple premise, and it is almost like an erotic sci-fi thriller. And I really enjoyed it. But this has like Natasha Henstridge as Syl, I believe her name is. But then they change it for some reason in Species 2. But all these movies kind of have like the same premise. But Species 2 was literally about like an astronaut who went to Mars, and he got infected by an alien parasite, and now he becomes the species. So he starts sleeping with a lot of women, and he impregnates them, and he just has like a crap ton of kiddos that are aliens, and they just sort of take over the world, kind of. Species 3 kind of bought back Natasha Henstridge, but they killed her off in the very beginning, and it shifts focus to Sonny Mabry, which you might know her from The New Guy and Snakes on a Plane. Two very guilty pleasure movies of mine. I mean, kind of looking good there. But this might be like the introduction of Sonny Mabry, and she takes over as the human alien hybrid, and she wants to find her ideal partner, and practically the same thing here. More sci-fi action and more sex. So that was Species 3. Species The Awakening was back in 2012, I want to say. And this one kind of felt more put together, because this was about like a professor who had an alien daughter, and she was getting sick, and he actually treated her as a human, but there was like this other alien species that just wanted to take over uh, the world and all that. So they go toe to toe, and you have another alien versus alien battle. I try my best to like explain all these movies, but they kind of melded together. But that was the Species franchise. Next, The Crow 1994. And I like literally gushed about this movie when I talked about both movies and the graphic novel. So, this is Brandon Lee's legacy, because he was tragically murdered on set by like a prop gun. It just misfired. So he died 3 days before shooting ended. That is just so heartbreaking. And this movie is just filled with tragedy and heartbreak. And Eric Draven and his fiancée Shelley are brutally murdered on Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. And 1 year later, Eric Draven gets resurrected by a crow. And he exacts revenge for the murder of him and his fiancée. This movie just oozes gothic atmosphere. And I do believe that this is a perfect movie. So, if you want my full thoughts on The Crow 1994, check out that video. But I'm going to move right along to The Crow 2024 and step down from quality. I had a lot of issues with this movie. For one, it is not the original Crow. They spend way too much time developing this pointless love connection, because it's basically like two junkies on the run. Eric acts like a puss for 20 minutes, and the last 20 or so minutes is set in the opera house, and it's the best part of the movie. If the opera house was this whole movie, I wouldn't have trashed this movie. But it wasn't the worst thing I watched this month. Borderlands was so much worse than this. But I did not like this movie at all. The villain was very forgettable, and Bill Skarsgård tried his best, but he just does not replicate what Brandon Lee brought to the original. So that was The Crow 2024. And these next two movies I didn't get a chance to review, so I'm just going to breeze through them. Blink Twice. This was a new psychological thriller that starred Channing Tatum and Naomi Ackie. So, Channing Tatum was like this tech mogul that invited a certain amount of people to like his private island, and the women try to figure out if they've been there or not. Guys, I did not like this movie at all. I thought this movie was horrible. Well, when I heard the fact that it blended Get Out and The Menu, I was like, maybe, but there was like twist after twist after twist, and none of it really came together, and I really gave two shits about this movie. I really did not like this movie at all. So, Get Out works for me, but The Menu has that same dry humor as Blink Twice. And I didn't like that at all. So, direction wise, Zoe Kravitz made this a very artistic movie, but this movie just did not work for me. That was Blink Twice. Next, a much better movie, and probably my other surprise of the month, Strange Darling. Another movie that Cody Leach talked about. This movie was awesome. It's just basically like a cat and mouse serial killer thriller. And what is really jarring is the way they decide to tell this story. Because it's set in 6 chapters, but it's out of order. But as you watch this movie, the answers come very clearly to you. I thought this was Kyle Gallner's best performance since Smile, and Willa Fitzgerald definitely did a very good job in here too. So, this one was definitely the sleeper hit of August. And I really did enjoy this movie quite a bit. That was Strange Darling. Next, Bad Boys, 1995. Don't know why I watched this, but I just threw it on one night and really enjoyed it. So this has Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and they are 2 cops that just fight crime together. And this one, they have to protect Téa Leoni from like being murdered by an informant. So, really good comedy, really good action, and probably Michael Bay's, well, one of Michael Bay's best franchises, because we know his franchises are filled with Oscar gold. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. But perfectly watchable, and I really wish I watched this franchise more. So, naturally, I also watched Bad Boys 2. In my opinion, a better sequel. So, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back, obviously, and they are trying to stop a drug ring from getting into Miami. It's just a bunch of ecstasy. Lots more action, lots more sex, basically. Well, you know, Michael Bay, he just focuses on hot women, hence 4 Transformers. But Very fun movie, and again, I really wish I watched this franchise more. And I don't know why I didn't cover it in June when Ride or Die came out. I just didn't have time. But I have seen all 4 Bad Boys movies. So, to round out the month was yet another dud, Afraid. I did not review this movie because basically AI wrote this thing. This is just basically a nothing thriller. So John Cho is offered this artificial intelligence that is way smarter than Siri and Alexa. It becomes all buddy-buddy with the family, but has sinister issues as well. I don't remember a damn thing about this movie, and I saw it about a week ago. A week ago Friday, I should say. Yeah. It was just like a quick 90-minute cash grab, if you will. But I think this might be my least favorite Blumhouse movie of the year. I don't know, Night Swim might have been a little bit better, but Imaginary was just weird. This one just felt like nothing. So, take it for what you will. That was Afraid. Just a basic thriller. Can't even call it a horror movie because it's not really scary. But, yeah, there you have it. Those are the 23 movies I watched in August. So, look out for more videos. I'll definitely post my September TBR by the weekend. And I'm also going to watch Beetlejuice tomorrow in preparation for Beetlejuice. God help me. But I might also go see The Front Room, which is a brand new A24 horror film that looks kind of interesting. And I also want to get started on a vlog that I'm going to work on throughout all of next week, because I'm off next week, and that means I have to start another vlog. So lots of stuff coming on the channel, but bear with me. Vlogging took a lot out of me. But other than that, that's all I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Adios. Peace.